Hey, what's up everyone, and happy 4th of July. Welcome back to Cinematic Reviews. As always, I will be your host, Chris, and this, of course, is the show about all things movies and TV. Well, we are back for Top Gun Maverick, Part 2 of our 250th anniversary of the USA double feature. You can check out Part 1 as well, where we did the first Top Gun. I haven't seen that movie in a while, probably since Top Gun Maverick came out. I do like to watch these two together, so that's why we're doing a double feature today to celebrate the 4th of July. Top Gun Maverick is my favorite movie of all time. I don't know if you've heard me talk about it on the show at all, but this is my number one movie of all time, and I'm going to dive into it today on why. A couple of reminders before we do that, though. You can watch the show every week at youtube.com/The Cinematic Reviews. You can also listen to the audio version on whichever podcast network you deem worthy. You can also watch the show on Spotify now, so 2 different places to watch the show if you are a video podcast person. Also, check out the social media pages, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X. The show is everywhere, so go ahead, follow, and support the show. Thank you for everyone that has supported the show the past 4 years. This podcast started the same year as Top Gun Maverick came out, which is awesome. Glad to revisit this movie. This is one of the first new releases we did on the show. Super glad to do a rewatch for my favorite movie of all time. Also, check out the official website of the podcast, cinematic-reviews.com, where you can review movies like Top Gun Maverick. You can rank the Tom Cruise movies. You can rank the MCU, Star Wars. You can watch the episodes of the show, all the shorts as well. Test your knowledge with trivia games. Check out the Best in Show or the Blockbuster Showdowns that I do on the show as well. There's so much to do on the website, so go ahead and set up a profile and become a movie reviewer like me, and check out all of the reviews that I've done as well. With that, let's head over and talk about our featured film for Part 2, Top Gun Maverick.
Your reputation precedes you.
I have to admit, I wasn't expecting an invitation back.
They're called orders, Maverick.
This is your captain speaking. Today's exercise is dogfighting.
2 versus 1? Hey, you gotta be kidding.
So Top Gun Maverick was released on May 27th, 2022. It had a budget of about $170 million and grossed a whopping $1.5 billion. It was re-released along with the first Top Gun this past May, and that made about another $15 million together. So quite a haul for Tom Cruise's biggest movie, the most money that a movie that he has starred in has earned. This will be the peak of his career, basically. I don't think he'll ever hit something as big that was Top Gun Maverick. This was a massive, massive movie in 2022. It was the longest sequel to the original, I think, on record. It's like 36 some years between the original and the sequel, which is the longest duration, which it's no surprise that it took this long, because Tom Cruise has always been against doing a sequel to Top Gun. It was the script, he said, and Christian McQuarrie taking over that ultimately made his decision to come back for this movie, but it had to be the way that he wanted to. It had to pay respect to not only Maverick himself, but the franchise as a whole. He wanted Val Kilmer back, so he talked Val Kilmer into coming back for one scene, and arguably one of the best scenes in the entire movie. He wanted to be able to fly all these planes. He wanted to make it as authentic as possible. He wanted to save movies, and according to Steven Spielberg, that is what he did with this movie. This was another pandemic movie, but he insisted that it had to be released in theaters. That's why it took, I think it was like a 2 or 3 year delay, because he wanted it to release in theaters, not on streaming, which I think was the right call. This is a movie theater movie. You need to have seen it on the biggest screen with the loudest speakers possible. I saw this twice when it came out, and it blew me away both times. It didn't become my favorite movie of all time until maybe the third or fourth rewatch that I did of it. But I was blown away by this movie when I saw it in theaters in 2022. It was a fantastic experience. I think I saw it when it came out in May, and then I think it was in June is when I saw the second showing. So wanted to kind of decompress and have some time in between showings to kind of appreciate it more, and I think it was great. I watch Top Gun Maverick about once a year, or at least I try to, because it's such an incredible experience, and I pick out new things every time when I watch it. I've seen this movie probably 20 times now. The first Top Gun, less of course, probably 10 times over the span of my 32 years on this planet Earth, but it is a fantastic movie. It's absolutely cinema, as Martin Scorsese says. It's just truly fantastic. To give you kind of a synopsis of the movie, if you haven't seen it in a while, or for some reason you've been living on a rock and you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick, it revolves Maverick basically confronting his past. It is him coming back to Top Gun, not as a student, but as an instructor now. And he is training the next generation of fighter pilots to go on this death-defying mission to stop a petroleum site. It's unknown. Again, they do this unknown enemy, just like they did in the first movie. If I were to guess, it's got to be Iran. But that is my opinion. They made the best choice in making this an unknown enemy once again. The first movie I talked about, that was probably either North Korea or Russia, probably Russia more. This seems to be maybe somewhere in the Middle East, probably Iran. But that is the basic synopsis of this. He has to train these young pilots to basically go on this suicide mission to stop this petroleum site from being activated in order so that they can create nuclear weapons, essentially. Miles Teller is introduced as Goose's son, Rooster, who we do see briefly in the first movie as that little boy sitting on the piano. He is now grown up, and he is now a lieutenant in the Air Force as well. He is a very skilled fighter pilot alongside some other newcomers like John Hamm, Chris Parnell, Monica Barbaro, Lewis Pullman, Jay Ellis, Danny Ramirez, Glenn Powell. There's a lot of new names in here, as well as Jennifer Connelly, who plays Penny, who, coincidentally enough, is the Admiral's daughter that has one line mentioned in the first Top Gun where Pete Mitchell took her on a cruise ride. She is, in fact, that Admiral's daughter, Penny. So now we have a face to the name, and it's really cool that they circled back to that one throwaway line in the first Top Gun movie, and Jennifer Connelly killed it as Penny Benjamin in this film. So kind of running down the cast here briefly, and then we'll get into all the notes and categories that we have today. Like I said, Maverick, played by Tom Cruise once again. This is Tom Cruise's best performance. I think he won't be able to top this whatsoever. This is his performance. If he was going to win Best Actor, it should have been for this movie, because he is fantastic in here. I love the way that he builds this chemistry with the new generation of fighters, but also, pushes back against John Hamm's character and Parnell's character, Warlock and Cyclone, and his relationship with Miles Teller on screen and off screen as Rooster. He's fantastic in this movie. Rooster, like I said, played by Miles Teller. He's fantastic. He looks exactly like Anthony Edwards' Goose. It's really kind of scary sometimes that they look so much alike. with the mustache, the sunglasses, the Hawaiian shirt, singing Great Balls of Fire on the piano in the bar. It was perfect. This was as good as you're going to get with Goose's son. Glenn Powell plays Hangman, or Bagman, as they call him, because he will leave you high and dry. That's where he gets his name Hangman from. Glenn Powell, this is where I was first introduced to him. Now he's catapulted into stardom with so many different great movies. Anybody But You, The Running Man, How to Make a Killing, Chad Powers. He's been in so much stuff. And come to find out, I actually didn't see him first in this movie. It was Spy Kids 3D. He was in there for a brief scene. But this is where I really fell in love with him, was as Hangman in Maverick. He was fantastic. He's kind of the Iceman counterpart in this movie. Really, really good. I really like Glenn Powell in here. Phoenix, played by Monica Barbaro. She is great. Her character is a little weird. Like, they kind of insinuate that maybe she had a past relationship with Hangman or with Rooster, with one of those guys. I wish she would have gotten more to do in this movie. I say that kind of for all these new generation fighters. This is Tom Cruise's movie, but if I were going to pick any sort of nitpick or negative out of this movie, I would have liked to see way more from these new generation of fighters. It feels like Rooster and Maverick and Glenn Powell kind of steal the show, but I would have liked a lot more from Phoenix. She was great. We have Bob. His call sign is actually Bob. It's hilarious. He's Louis Pullman, Bill Pullman's son, who has now been in a bunch of other stuff. He's now with Marvel as Sentry, but he's great in here as Bob. He's, as Glenn Powell says, the man is a stealth pilot and no sense of humor. I really like Bob. Payback and Fanboy, they are the two pair of fighters that go along with them as well. Payback, I believe, is the one that passes out when he goes into G-Lock. That was a scary scene for sure. Yep, it was Payback. Fanboy is played by Danny Ramirez, who you probably recognize as the new Falcon in the MCU. But Payback is the one where they do the training and they get to whatever it's called, the Coffin's Corner or whatever, and he's the one that goes into G-Lock, which basically means that so many G's was pressing up against his body that he blacked out. So that forced Maverick to engage and fire his toner to lock onto Payback's plane and wake him up. It was a very scary sight. And weirdly enough, nobody dies in here. Like in Top Gun, Goose is the only one that dies. In here, you would think one of these guys would have ultimately passed away. But I think they made the conscious choice and not having anybody die in this movie, especially Tom Cruise, who there is a fan theory I'll talk about here in a second of maybe he actually did die and this is all a dream, but we'll dive into that a little bit. Who else we got? Cyclone, played by John Hamm. He's kind of the Tom Skerritt character in here, and then Warlock's kind of the Viper of it. They don't fly in the fighter jets, though. They are more office workers overseeing this project for this mission, but they're great. I love them. Ed Harris. I wish we would have seen more of Ed Harris. He's only in that first scene with the Dark Star test as he comes in to shut down the program, and he is just a delight to see on screen. I absolutely love him in that first scene. If it was anybody else, I don't think the scene would have hit as hard. I would have expected him to come in just screaming at him, but he was more reserved, Ed Harris, which I think is really badass. I do love the line that he says, "You got some balls, stick jockey." It's one of my favorite lines, and it's just that Ed Harris tone is so good. He's great. Hondo, which is kind of the right-hand guy to Maverick. He's kind of like the moral compass and just kind of along for the ride and helping out Maverick wherever he can. You can tell that they're really, really close over the years, and he's great. You know, it's an honor, Captain, and just has that really touching speech at the end before Tom Cruise goes on that final mission, and you could tell on Tom Cruise's face is like, damn, how do I top that goddamn speech? That was good, man. And then Penny, like I said, played by Jennifer Connelly. She's fantastic. She is the Penny that they referred to in the first Top Gun, where Tom Cruise takes her for a joyride. They seem to have this on and off relationship. Every time he's in town, they hook up. He has to leave, pisses off somebody, and he's forced to go to some other facility to do a mission. Then he comes back because he pissed off somebody else. Just a back and forth thing. I think Jennifer Connelly is one of the better love interests that he's had chemistry-wise. You know, Tom Cruise notoriously doesn't have really good chemistry with some of his female counterparts. But I think in this movie, Jennifer Connelly, they have the best chemistry, and this is probably the best love interest that he has had in his 40-plus career as a movie star. But she's fantastic, absolutely stunning and incredible. So that is the cast. It's kind of a short cast, kind of similar to the first movie. I like that when it's just like, here's your 10 people that you need to focus on. Nobody else matters. These are your 10 people. Really, really like it. Couple notes here, and then we'll get on to all the fun categories. So Maverick takes all the good from Top Gun and makes it better. It's true. It does. It takes all the flight stuff. It takes all the personal connections with each other, all the quotes, the action, the music. It's all brought to a whole nother level. This is truly Top Gun 2.0, and in the best way. It's the best movie ever. And I might be a little biased in that, but I don't care. This is the greatest movie of all time. It is the best made movie and best executed. It's just so good, and it takes everything that was really good and really fun in Top Gun and just makes it 100 times better. It's so good. The music hits the hardest. It does. The music, like the fighter stuff is awesome. The characters talking to each other and their relationships with each other are great. But for me, it's the music. It's the music that they picked to make those scenes hit harder. Like the Dark Star test flight that we are going to talk about at length coming up here. It wouldn't be as good if it wasn't for the music. The final mission where they go on and they're all fighting off of these rocket launchers and other fighter pilots from the enemy. It's the music. The music is what gives me the goosebumps. It gives me that chicken skin. It gives me that suspense. And the music is what makes this movie so good. It brings back Danger Zone. It brings back the iconic gong noise. It's incredible. Even Lady Gaga's end credits song is really, really good with Tom Cruise and Jennifer Connelly flying around on his plane. The music is my favorite part of this movie. It is what makes Top Gun Maverick the best ever. It's so good. Now let's get to that death fan theory. So for those that don't know, there is a theory that has been out since this movie was released about how Maverick actually died during that Dark Star test flight at the beginning of the movie, and this is all a dream. He's in a coma or he's dead, and this is just kind of him living out his dream. I can see where this theory is true. I really doubt that it is true. I think Tom Cruise is just the luckiest guy in the world, because with that test flight, they're going Mach 10, which no manned flight has ever gone past, like I think Mach 2, and this is very, very unrealistic to survive, but it's a movie, guys. It's Tom Cruise being a badass. I think he actually has it in his contract not to die. Like, I can't even think of a movie right now where he dies in there, because I truly think that his contracts specifically state that I cannot die in these movies. Even though he does his damnness to do it, like Mission Impossible, I was pretty sure that he was on the verge of death and fallout with the stunts that he was doing, but he survived. He broke his ankle, but he survived. But that is a fan theory that people still today think is what truly happened, was that he died during that test flight, and the rest of the movie is just a dream. Same thing with him taking the missiles for Rooster at the end. That is another instance where he died. So that's kind of a separate offshoot theory where they're like, no, he actually died at this point of the movie, and everything after that is make-believe. So a couple different theories there. I don't think he died at all. I think Maverick is just the luckiest and skilled fighter in history, and he just is able to cheat death multiple times. Recreated scenes. I wanted to point these out because and I know this is a negative that a lot of people have with this movie, is that it's basically Top Gun, but that's the fun of it. That's fun that they're paying homage to the first movie, but also updating it and making it better. So the instructor meeting the team. This scene was recreated again. In the first one, it was Charlie, Kelly McGillis's character, meeting the team for the first time with Goose, Iceman, Maverick, Slider, all of them. They do the same thing with Tom Cruise coming in, meeting Glenn Powell, Phoenix, Fanboy, all of them. And it's in the same setup, too, where they meet them at the Hard Deck, the bar that Penny works at and owns. She has him kicked out because he broke the rules, of course, not knowing. And they physically lift Tom Cruise up and toss his ass into the beach. Come to find out, when he shows up, he's the instructor, and they have the same reaction, like, shit. He's the instructor, and you get that reaction from Glenn Powell, just like Tom Cruise has when he realizes Kelly McGillis is the instructor, the woman that he tried to hook up with the night before. It's really, really awesome homage there. And I like that line, too, that Phoenix says. I don't think it's in the quotes today, where she goes, we're the best of the best. Who the hell are they going to get to teach us? Turns out Maverick is that one. Great Balls of Fire at the Hard Deck. They recreate this, and they even have a flashback in the movie, which I thought was great, where Rooster comes in. He's dressed up exactly like Goose. He hops on the piano and starts kicking off Great Balls of Fire, just like Anthony Edwards. You have that flashback of the bar that they're in, and Tom Cruise and Goose are singing Great Balls of Fire with little Rooster sitting on the piano. It's a great recreation, a great homage to that scene. Team playing dogfight football shirtless on the beach. This was another recreation of the volleyball scene in the first Top Gun movie. Dogfight football seems very fun but very confusing, where you have both offense and defense going at the same time. You have that line from John Hamm is who's winning, and Maverick's like, I think they lost track a while ago. It's because the rules are so confusing. How can you keep track of the points in that game? But it seems really fun, and it's a great team building exercise. That was the whole purpose of this, which was great. You get the line from Rooster, come on, Mav, do some of that pilot shit, which is the exact quote that Goose says in the first Top Gun. So father and son sharing the same lines, which is great. And then the celebration at the end of the movie, it's the same exact thing where in the first movie, Tom Cruise embraces Iceman and they become best friends. In this one, they recreate it with Rooster and Tom Cruise embracing each other and celebrating, and that's where the movie ends, pretty much. You get that last scene with him and Penny flying in the air with the airplane, but the celebration at the end of the movie, shot for shot, almost recreation of the first Top Gun movie, which was awesome. All right, let's get to the fun categories. We have iconic scenes, favorite quotes, and some fun facts. So iconic scenes. Reminder, these are scenes that you think of when you hear the title Top Gun Maverick. I got a couple. Wish I could just put the whole movie in here as iconic, because it is, but I wanted to challenge myself, and I picked about 5 or 6 scenes that I think are the most iconic, and then I will give which is my favorite or most iconic to me. All right, so the first one, the Dark Star test flight going Mach 10. This is one of the greatest openings of a movie ever. I love the music. I love the build up to it. You have Tom Cruise just, working out on the treadmill with the oxygen mask. He's training, getting ready for this test. And I love them walking down the hall. You get the iconic line from Hondo, I don't like that look, Mav. And Tom Cruise is like, it's the only one I got, And it's just an incredible way to open up this movie. He ends up going into the Dark Star fighter pilot. He gets launched up into there. And Ed Harris shows up and he's like, what the hell is going on? Stop this test flight. Maverick does the old, fake radio breakout. I can't hear you hitting Mach I. And it's just so good. The music hits so hard in here, especially when you get to that shot of him going around the earth. And it's just the music hits so hard. And you have Hondo going, he's the fastest man alive. And it's just Tom Cruise. Just one of the most beautiful shots I've ever seen in a movie was the Dark Star ship just going around the earth and this slight loop as he's trying to hit Mach 10. It's so good. And then he hits Mach 10. And then as soon as he does, you get cut over to Hondo and he's like, don't do it. And Maverick's going to push it to 10.1, to 10.2. And Tom Cruise even says it, just a little push. And then the ship explodes and he falls down to earth. This is the best opening to a movie ever. It gets me so hyped for the rest of the movie. It's so well done. I just love it. Great Balls of Fire with Rooster. I had to put this in there because it's such an iconic moment in the first Top Gun, and they recreated it so well in here. I think it's in the fun facts, but Miles Teller actually learned how to play Great Balls of Fire on the piano for this. It was not a double. He wanted to do it himself. It's such a great scene and you get that moment with Maverick when he's outside the hard deck and he's looking at Rooster and he's hearing Great Balls of Fire and he's like, holy shit. And he's getting flashbacks and he's like, God damn it, I miss Goose, and he feels guilty about it still. And you just get that really touching, and Penny even notices it too. She looks at Maverick, she looks at Rooster, and she's like, shit. And he just has the weight of the world on his shoulders watching Rooster, a grown man, singing the song that him and his dad used to sing. It's really heartbreaking, and it's a really, really good scene, though, by Tom Cruise. Really love it. Maverick and Iceman. So they get Val Kilmer back, and he's terrific. It's like a 3-minute scene. He says like 4 lines because at the time he was battling cancer, and he's typing on the computer, and it's so good. It's so good, and it ends so well too, where Iceman's like, "Who's the better pilot?" And Tom Cruise is like, "Let's not end on a bad note." And it's just really good. You can tell that they are essentially best friends. Iceman's always saving his ass in his admiral role. Saving him from himself, essentially. And he's trying to push him, like, forget the past, move forward, let the kid go, trust the kid. And Tom Cruise is just like, what if I can't? What if I can't let him go because he's my responsibility? His dad died on my watch. I can't lose the son, too. And it's such a really good emotional moment between Maverick and Ice, and Val Kilmer just killed it. I wish he would have gotten an Oscar for that one because he was so good in this scene. Love it. Maverick completes the mission in, 2 minutes, 15 seconds. This was a great let's fucking go moment where he's like, all right, hold my beer. I'm going to show these kids how that it is possible. And they're watching him on the screen, and he's going through it, and they're like, no fucking way he does this in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. And sure as shit, he does. And you get that great line from Phoenix where he completes it, and she just goes, nice. And she knows that they're about to see something really fucking cool. And they do. Maverick completing this mission is everything. Granted, it forces John Hamm's hand and says, well, you left me in a really difficult situation. 1, you've shown that this mission is successful, and I kind of want to make you team leader. 2, you ran the course so hard that the plane will be unmanageable now. And it's just like, Maverick is the best. He has to lead this team. He's the only reason that this mission is going to be successful. And it also proves to the young fighters that it is possible, because they're all going through those different trial runs and they're like, shit, this isn't even possible. But he wanted to give them that kick in the ass, and he proved that this was completable, and it was awesome. Maverick takes a hit for Rooster during the mission. This is a great moment. Rooster is, he's out of flares. He's like, God damn it, what do I do? I'm done. And Tom Cruise is like, fuck it. He reverses backwards over Rooster. You get that really great shot of the plane kind of tilted upward to block the missile, and he's throwing the countermeasures at the same time. It was so good. He takes the hit, crashes down. Rooster's like, we got to go back. And everyone's just like, he's gone, Rooster. We can't do anything. And Rooster said, fuck it, I'm going back to save him. But this was such a great moment and a great shot of the plane tilted upward. And he just takes a missile for Rooster. It's so good. And then Rooster and Maverick take out enemy fighters together. This was great too. This was flashbacks to Goose and Maverick in the first movie. Rooster, Miles Teller, sounds so much like Anthony Edwards. He's reacting the same way. He's saying the same phrases. It's so good. And I love that line too where they get behind one of the enemy fighters and he does this sick twist move over them. And Rooster goes, what the fuck was that? Basically the same reaction the audience had when they saw that scene, because I audibly said, yeah, what the fuck was that? That was like the sickest move ever. It's so good. And then Glenn Powell comes in. He has his whole, your savior has arrived, put your tables in the locked up right position. And it's such a good moment. But Rooster and Maverick working together to take out these fighters was reminiscent of Goose and Maverick. They did it so well. So good. Most iconic scene for me is probably it's between the Dark Star test flight and Maverick taking the hit for Rooster. I think it's Maverick taking the hit for Rooster, even though I fucking love the Dark Star test flight. It's tough, but I think when I hear Top Gun Maverick, I think of Maverick taking that hit for Rooster. Just that shot of his plane tilted upward to block the missile is just so good. And it was such a cool maneuver that he did to get to that position. It's awesome. But the Dark Star test flight is the best fucking opening ever. It's tough. Write in the comments below what you think your most iconic scene is from this movie. There's a lot of them. Like, there's scenes that I didn't mention. Like, another great scene is, and it's mainly because of the music, but they get to what they call that coffin corner or whatever, where they have all the missiles firing at each other, and they're all dodging, you know, they're all communicating each other, releasing countermeasures. I'm out of flares, I'm out of missiles. And it's just, for a second, the theater got really quiet when I watched this, and all you hear is the music. And you just see the missiles going back and forth. You're like, holy fucking shit, how do they survive this? There's so many missiles. And it's such a great shot. And it's mainly because of the music, because you're just sitting there in silence like, oh my God, someone's gonna fucking die, right? There's no way they can get out of this. It's so good. I didn't put it on the list, but that's another great scene as well. Favorite quotes. This was tough. I had to really shrink this down to the best of the best because there's so many great lines in this movie. But I literally wrote everything that Ed Harris says. It's so good. You know, you got balls, stick jockey. You know, it's so good. I love Ed Harris in this movie, and he's only in it for like 5 minutes. It's so good. This one from Maverick. I know what will happen to everyone else if I don't. This, of course, is a response to Hondo's, where he goes, Maverick, you don't have to do this. You know what will happen if you do it. And then that's when, this is where you realize the kind of person Maverick is. And he says that line, I know what will happen to everyone else if I don't do this test flight. They're all going to lose their jobs. And that is the kind of, the person that Maverick is. And that is, and I didn't put this on the list, but Phoenix has another great line too, where she goes, and now you know something about Rooster. You know, the way that Rooster takes the blame for it, and he does those 200 push-ups. Even though it wasn't his fault, it was Hangman's fault. And that's another great line. This is how you know a little bit something about Maverick now. He's really good. Speaking of Rooster, he has the come on Mav, don't do some of that pilot shit. It's a great line, referencing Goose, of course. This one from Hondo, I already said it, but I don't like that look, Mav. Maverick responds, it's the only one I got. Another one from Rooster, it's not the plane, it's the pilot. Words of advice, just in life in general. It's so good. Another one from Maverick, don't think, just do. This is telling Bradley, Rooster, great advice for that. This one from Hangman, this is your savior speaking when he comes and save him. And then I love this scene when after he crashes and Dark Star ends up in that diner. He comes in, he's a mess, and he's like, where am I? And the little kid's eating I think he's eating Fruit Loops or something, and he's like, Earth? It's such a good line, because they think he came from space. It's so good. I love that little kid. My favorite quote's probably, I think the one that repeats the most in my mind is, you got some balls, stick jockey, from Ed Harris. That's such a great line from Ed Harris. So good. But another one, a friend of mine, we always do this where I don't like that look, Mav, and I always respond back to him. It's the only one I got. It's another great line that I love. Some fun facts here, and then we'll wrap things up with all the rankings today. Tom Cruise personally designed a 3-month aviation training course for the new actors to become ready to handle riding in an F-18. You know, Tom Cruise, of course, is a very skilled pilot. He's been flying since the first Top Gun, I think. He has a personal plane that he flies at the end of this movie. It's really cool that he is so skilled now in his 40-plus years of acting that he now can design aviation training because he's so skilled as a pilot. So good. After extensive flight training and on-the-ground preparation, actors joined professional pilots to hit the skies for 90 minutes at a time, a few times per day, and had to hit their marks, checking lights, and their makeup, remembering their eye lines, and turn on the cameras themselves while airborne. So they would fly up, they would do all their scenes in about 90 minutes, they would fly down, and then they would watch it. It's so cool that this was a very hands-on project for these actors, and they wanted to make it as authentic as possible. They're actually in those planes. It's so good. Miles Teller learned how to play Great Balls of Fire on the piano himself without a double, like I mentioned already. At the start of the film, Maverick flies a test plane past Mach 10. I think he gets up to like 0.2, I think. That is 2.1 miles per second, or 3.4 kilometers per second. In real life, as of 2022, the world's fastest air-breathing manned aircraft is the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, whose top speed is slightly more than Mach 3. The unmanned NASA's X-43 so-called scramjet has flown at Mach 9.6. So the fastest a manned plane aircraft has gone is actually Mach 3, not Mach 2. So I'll correct myself there. But this shows that Mach 10 isn't achievable right now by a man. That's pretty impressive. But 9.6, that is fucking fast, guys. That is insane. And then the moment Rooster bumps his head on the canopy while flying inverted was unplanned. Miles Teller wasn't strapped in tightly enough for the inversion. Director Joseph Krasinski liked the authenticity of it and kept it in the film. Joseph Krasinski, we haven't talked about yet, but he outdoes himself in this movie. It's so good. He eventually does F1 with Brad Pitt, which is another incredible movie. That one's got a lot of Top Gun Maverick aspects to it. But Krasinski did a fantastic job with this. And then working with Christian McQuarrie, who directed the last few Mission Impossible movies with Tom Cruise as well. This movie had all the great people working on it and the right people at the right time. Krasinski outdid himself. Like, he should have won Best Director. Tom Cruise should have won Best Actor. Val Kilmer should have won Best Supporting Actor. This should have won for sound editing. I think it actually did win for sound editing. Let me see real quick what Oscar. I know it won an Oscar. It might have been sound, but I'm not entirely sure. Let me see if I can find all the awards that it won. Not IMDb is such a mess right now. Okay, here we go. Oscar winner for Best Sound, which at least it won that. It was nominated for film editing and Best Original Song, Hold My Hand by Lady Gaga, and it was nominated for visual effects. So no director, no Best Picture, no Best Actor, no Supporting Actor, which is a shame. It should have at least been nominated for those, if not won all those. But at least it won an Oscar. So it's an Oscar-winning movie, which it well deserves. This movie is fantastic. Like I keep saying, it's my favorite movie of all time. Love the music, love the cast, love the action, love the story that they're telling. It goes by really quick, too. Like, what's the time run on this? 2 hours and 10 minutes? It doesn't feel like 2 hours and 10 minutes anymore. It feels like an hour. And I could take 3 hours of Top Gun Maverick, honestly. Like, if there's a 3-hour Krasinski cut, like, give it to me. Release the Krasinski cut. That's what I got to say. All right, so let's end things like we always do with all the rankings today for Top Gun Maverick. So we normally do Best in Show for new releases, but I wanted to do it for Maverick because this would be fun to kind of sprinkle in Best in Show for some of these other released movies over the years. So your nominees for Best in Show are Tom Cruise as Maverick, Miles Teller as Rooster, and Jennifer Connelly as Penny. This is tough. I wish I could pick all these because they're so good, but I'm going to go with Maverick. Tom Cruise as Maverick is your Best in Show. This is his best performance in his career. I think this is the best that it's going to get. It's his biggest movie. It's his biggest movie at the box office. He was so good in here. He hits those emotional cues so well. And the way he carries himself as the older pilot, as the instructor, caring for the team, caring for Rooster. His chemistry with Jennifer Connelly is so good. So I'm going to go with Maverick as the winner for Best in Show for Top Gun Maverick. He's so good. But Rooster's great. And Jennifer Connelly is fantastic as Penny. I love seeing her on screen. Miles Teller is awesome as well. I love him as Rooster. Blockbuster Showdown. We got Top Gun versus Top Gun Maverick. Well, you can probably guess who I'm going to pick. It's going to be Top Gun Maverick. But Top Gun's really good. It's a close fight. I love watching these back to back. That's why we're doing the double feature today. But for me, it is Top Gun Maverick. It takes everything that Top Gun did well and makes it even better somehow. I don't know how, but it is Top Gun 2.0. It's the best version of Top Gun. Nothing against Top Gun. It's a fantastic movie. I love it. I just like Top Gun Maverick more. It does everything that it needs to carry the franchise forward in a positive direction, and it does it so well. So good. Top Gun Maverick is your winner for Blockbuster Showdown. And then the popcorn rating. You probably guessed where I'm going to go with here. This is the example of what a golden popcorn movie is. This is the movie. This is absolute cinema. This is my favorite movie of all time. This is a golden popcorn movie. It's just so good. The music, the action, Tom Cruise himself, the casting. It's really, really awesome. Actually, speaking of casting, during the research, I didn't put this in fun facts, but I think Glenn Powell was actually in the running for Rooster, but they liked him so much that they ended up having him as Hangman. But that would have been a really interesting take if Glenn Powell was Rooster instead. I could see him pulling it off, but after seeing Miles Teller, I can't see anybody else as Rooster. It's that he is Rooster, and Glenn Powell is Hangman. It's just how it is. But this is a clear example of what a golden popcorn movie is. So that is my popcorn rating for Top Gun Maverick, and that is the end of our Top Gun double feature to celebrate 250 years of the USA. So happy 4th of July, everybody. Have fun. Be safe today. We have a lot of episodes coming up here. We got the MCU going on. We got the Spider-Man event kicking off. We got some more new releases coming out with The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's newest movie. The new Spider-Man movies coming out. There's so much content. Check out the website. Check out the social media pages. Check out the past episodes. Go ahead and watch my original review episode of Top Gun Maverick back in the Cinemac archives. See my initial reaction to the movie. It's going to be a little rough because it's one of the first episodes of the show, so I was still learning, the podcast game. But it's have fun. Go dive back into the old Top Gun Maverick episode. So, but like I said, happy 4th of July, everybody. Happy birthday to America. Be safe. Have fun. We'll see you all next time on the show.